Something seemed unusual in the way the principal walked to the podium from the back of the assembly ground. He moved his tall frame rather ponderously. He was not as smart as he used to be. The trademark morning smile was not forthcoming. He took the microphone from Angel, the chapel prefect, and held it, saying nothing. Despite the fact that the morning's pep talk was over and everyone was excited, all waited for the principal to speak. But the man looked blankly above the students' heads, instead of looking compellingly into their eyes the way he used to. He attempted to talk, yet words refused to come. His head dropped over his broad shoulders as he stared at the colorful tiles on the floor. There was a heavy silence. Again, the principal, Mr. Bepo Adewale, attempted to speak. Tears came out from his eyes. Everyone saw them, and everyone was terrified. Tears trickled down his face. He tried again to produce words. This time, the microphone hit the floor, sending a harsh clatter through the twin sound boxes. More tears streamed from both eyes, competitively rolling down his sunken cheeks. Dozens of perplexed eyes, students and staff, fixed on him. There was nowhere to hide from the puzzled looks. Then he hid in the only available space. He brought his palms together like a supplicant and shielded his face. Vice Principal asked, "What is the matter, Principal?" The Vice Principal, Mrs. Grace Ape, moved to his side. 4 other staff members joined her. But the principal said nothing. Instead, he sobbed freely. The school nurse, Mrs. T.T. Israel, fondly called Nurse Titi, offered him a handkerchief. The vice principal said, "Please conclude the assembly and let the students go into their classes immediately." She directed this to the chemistry teacher, Mr. Justice Anab. Together with Mr. Oyalana, the CRK teacher, they gently walked the principal back to his office, his face still buried in his palms, sobbing even more agitatedly. Nurse Titi, "Sir, what is the matter?" They helped him into his chair. "Is anything the matter?" she asked again. But Bepo did not utter a word. The tears did not stop flowing. By 8:05 a.m., more teachers arrived. For over 30 minutes, they tried to console him. All the while, he sobbed. Occasionally, he would shake his head. He would look at the ceiling, then at the faces before him, as though he had just returned from a distant, dreamy wonderland. And then he would plunge deeper into tears. Meanwhile, rumors had begun spreading. Parents were calling. One said he was rolling on the floor. Another claimed he was muttering in Yoruba, "Oluwag Bamio, save me, O God." The vice principal realized there was only one person left to call, the managing director, Mrs. Ibidun Gloss. But the morning had not begun like this. The A-list school in the posh heart of Lekki had commenced assembly with pride. Students sang, "O God of creation, direct our noble cause." There was excitement. There was laughter, especially during the pep talk. An SSS-1 student, Ikena Egbu, had just returned from an excursion to Joe's. "I saw Nigeria in its acrobatic beauty. You might have been to London. You might have been to New York. But if you have not been to Joe's, you must visit that brilliantly beautiful city. So chilly is Joe's that I felt like sleeping every second of the 2 days we spent there. If I have the opportunity in the future, I would rather settle in Joe's than Jakarta, Toronto, or London." But while the students laughed, while the applause echoed, their principal was not on top of the world. He was under the world of tears. What could make a strong man weep before his entire school? What burden was too heavy for his broad shoulders?
After 5 long days of interrogation, 5 days of pressure, 5 days of silent frustration, Mr. Bepo finally opened up. He was leaving Nigeria, leaving everything he had built, leaving Stardom schools for the United Kingdom. It had not been an easy decision. His hesitation had stretched his marriage to the brink. Every delay, every "let me think about it," had slowly turned into tension at home. His wife, Sari, had waited long enough, and this time she was not waiting alone. Nike and Kike, his children, had joined their mother abroad. In the quiet war to win him over, they became her strongest allies. And what man can fight when his own children stand on the other side? Yet his heart remained in one place: Stardom schools. He loved those students. He had watched timid children become confident teenagers. He had shaped futures, corrected paths, encouraged dreams. To leave them behind felt unnatural. He often asked himself, why should he leave a developing nation to help advance a developed one? Why must the best hands always go elsewhere? But love for country does not cancel responsibility to family. The truth was, the opportunity was solid. A confirmed teaching job in the UK, no struggle, no uncertainty, no fake documents, no desperate hustle, just a smooth transition. For over 2 decades, Bepo had walked the corridors of stardom. For 4 memorable years, he served as headmaster of Stardom Kiddies. That was where the legend began. Teachers under him often quarreled. Hardly 2 weeks passed without someone knocking on his door with complaints. But Bepo never exploded, never humiliated, never dismissed. He listened, he understood, and somehow he resolved every conflict. One afternoon, during yet another heated meeting, the ever-dramatic Mr. Adu stood up and joked, "The way our headmaster settles fights reminds me of King Oloja in Village Headmaster. Since they had theirs, we have our own Lekki Headmaster." The room burst into laughter. But something else happened that day. The name stuck. And even after he became principal, even after promotions and titles, he remained the Lekki Headmaster. When news of his relocation spread, the staff room turned into a financial seminar. "How can a man be sad over pounds?" they asked. Sari was a nurse. Rumor said she earned up to £10,000 monthly. Bepo's UK offer promised £3,600. Meanwhile, his salary in Nigeria stood at 400,000 naira. Phones came out. Calculators clicked. Conversions flew across the room. 400,000 naira, or nearly 6 million naira equivalent per month? To them it was obvious. He will spend in pounds, one argued. Dump that argument, another replied. He can still send money home. The figures sounded magical. The opportunity sounded golden. So why was he reluctant? Then came the comedy. "If he doesn't want it, I will take it," Mr. Adu declared dramatically. He grabbed his books. "I'm going to the airport right now." Laughter exploded across the staff room. Of course, he was already late for class. But what his colleagues did not fully understand was that Bepo had a plan. In 4 years, at 55, he intended to retire. Not to rest, but to build. He had begun attending seminars, listening to business coaches, taking notes. He admired the confidence of successful entrepreneurs, the freedom, the independence. One coach had told him, "Employees should not dream too comfortably. Real security belongs to business owners." The words stayed with him. Perhaps he would start a school. After all, he had the experience, the training, the passion. A graduate of English and history education, a seasoned administrator. But starting small was wise. Yet starting small in the wrong location could destroy everything. He remembered Fruitful Future School, a neighborhood school he once co-founded. It had collapsed, not because of poor teaching, but because the environment could not sustain it. That lesson never left him. Farming crossed his mind, sachet water production, bottled drinks, food business, and then transportation. Buy a bus, lease it out, earn daily. Unlike farming, money begins immediately. But transportation had its own dangers. Drivers who defaulted, mechanics who collaborated in deception, broken promises, broken vehicles, broken trust. 3 of his colleagues had tried and regretted it. Still, big transport companies thrived. If they could succeed, then there must be a system that works. There must be a way around the chaos. But those dreams would have to wait. His bags were nearly packed. His path was shifting. A new country, a new classroom, a new test. He once read about a Nigerian teacher in the UK who was shocked on his first day when a student asked him, "Are you an idiot?" The story unsettled him, but he reminded himself, a good teacher does not lose composure. A good teacher adapts. Life anywhere is not a bed of roses. Every nation has its thorns. But wherever he stands, in Lekki or London, Mr. Bepo will remain what he has always been: calm, empathetic, resolute. The Lekki Headmaster.